What's going on, everyone? Phil here for KOGaming, and today I'm going to be talking about the game everyone is talking about this week, the highly controversial Hellblade 2, also known as SENUA'S saga. I have certain things that I would like to say. Notably, that once again, the internet has fucking lied about games. The game is not 5 hours long. That is complete horseshit. There is no way, no how, that you can beat Hellblade 2 in 5 hours. The only way you can beat that game in 5 hours is to already know the solution to every single puzzle. Like, you actually have to have beaten the game first to then speed run it and get the 5 hour playtime. But people lie. So FYI, in reality, for an honest first time playthrough of Hellblade 2, it probably would take about 7 to 8 hours roughly. Hellblade 2 is not 5 hours long. That's an outright lie. Don't listen to people who make this shit up just for drama clicks on the internet. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, Hellblade 2. Well, if you played Hellblade 1, you pretty much know what Hellblade 2 is. Like, no exaggeration, Hellblade 1 and Hellblade 2 are incredibly similar games. They purposefully didn't change the game much from the first one. Hellblade 1 was in 2017. It's 2024. What has Ninja Theory been doing for 7 years? There's no way that it took them 7 years to make this game. If they did, that was probably the worst production schedule in the game development history, besides maybe Duke Nukem Forever, because that game is not 7 years of work, okay? It's the same kind of very simplistic gameplay that you did in the first game, which constitutes 3 different kinds of gameplay. Gameplay number 1, you are walking around and searching for secrets in the environment. It has nothing to do with the actual story of the game. So yes, the side content of Hellblade 2 literally has nothing to do with Hellblade 2. It's just completely unrelated content. There was an item with lore, and you started reading the lore, and it was about Super Mario Brothers. That's the side content of Hellblade 2. Figure that one out. It's kind of silly. And then there's the combat. And the combat is insanely simplistic in this game. You've got a light and heavy attacks, of which there's literally no reason to ever go between. You never need to go between the two at all. You could always just mash light attack. There's the block and parry button. If you block, well, you blocked. You didn't take damage. So here's combat. An enemy's coming at you. Don't bother attacking. Just wait. And when they attack, try to parry by tapping block as soon as they attack. If you perfect parry, you'll see a big blue flash, and you get an auto counterattack by mashing the button. The most effective way to play the game is to parry everything and then counterattack afterward. The enemies in the game are literally all the same, but they're not real. I guess they're all in SENUA'S mind, but literally they're all the same. They just kind of attack, you kind of parry, and you kill them. I have just described the entirety of Hellblade 2. There's literally nothing else to the game. Me describing the game like this, you might be like, well, then it sounds like it's a crappy game. But where these games shine are the graphics and the story. Story. Well, Senua is out for revenge. Norsemen had invaded her countryside and killed her family and townspeople. And so she set out to basically not only find the remains of her deceased husband, but then to get revenge on some of those Norse people. This leads her on a quest, of course, that goes crazy. Oh yeah, there's giants, and there's magical hidden folk who have powers, and there's Draugr, who are cannibalistic monsters. Apparently this is real, or so you think. I'm not going to spoil the whole game, but the game will do a giant twist at the end, and you'll find out the entire game was in SENUA'S mind. There was a character who was supposed to be an enemy. That character actually is Senua, battling her own personal demons. It was all trapped in her head, right? That's dumb. You know what that's called? A bad plot device? That's stupid as shit. Give us something so it feels like that journey was worthwhile, and it doesn't, and that pissed me off. So a couple things I like about Hellblade 2 and a couple things I dislike. I definitely like that the story, once again, it grips you, it's interesting, it wants you to keep playing. Even if the gameplay elements aren't very good, you still want to keep going with this game to see where the story goes and ends. Reminds you of the days back, remember Knack? And remember how revolutionary that felt? It's kind of the same feeling for me there, okay? So, story good. What's bad? Well, most of the game is a walking simulator. The game's too samey. I feel like I'm playing Hellblade 1 again 7 years later, and even though there's a new story, they didn't really do anything to innovate at all. They took 7 years to make this game, and I couldn't tell you of a new element that works or even is in the game. It feels like the same game a second time. Imagine if you were playing Super Mario Brothers, and then Super Mario Brothers 2 was identical to Super Mario Brothers, just more levels. Oh wait, they did that. It was called Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. The original Super Mario 2 actually just was that. Anyway, the point I'm making is it just feels too much like the same game. I really was hoping for innovations in a sequel. It doesn't feel like they even cared. They just wanted to continue the game that they had made 7 years ago and not actually care about improving the game at all. So, I played it for almost 6.5 hours, and essentially, I really don't feel like the game is a necessary even play game. If you have Game Pass, and you have nothing to do for a whole day, and you want to play a game for 8 hours and just do something different, it's a perfectly passable game. This game, literally, if you've played Hellblade 1, you've played Hellblade 2 before. It's just a different story, and that's dumb. They really should have done something to make it feel like a better game, and they really didn't bother. And to me, that's what kind of makes the game feel kind of meh. I already played it. I have no clue what happened here in the development cycle that they just put out the same game twice. Well, that is it for my initial impressions and early review. Hopefully this video served as informative to you, and you can now make an educated decision on whether or not you want to check out this game. If you liked this video and found it informative, please consider giving it a like here on YouTube, as well as spreading the word amongst your friends so that other people can check it out and learn more about this game as well before they buy it. Also, please take a look at the description here of the video where you can find lots of fun stuff, including a discount code for Loot Crate and my Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time right here on KOGaming.